Our boy Elon is back at it again. Outside of his prime time of reposting questionable content on his dumpster fire of an app, he's made sure his pet companies follow in his footsteps and do their part to make sure reputable information is kept out of the hands of those evil commoners. This time around, SpaceX, Musk's IRL Kerbal Space Program clone, posted a stunningly beautiful image on Twitter alongside some information about Starlink sustainability. This picture, of course, became the new de facto press material on many other space news outlets, which would be awesome if it weren't a fake photo. Unfortunately for our little musky wusky poo, it took all of about 15 hours for the Twitter thread to spot not just that it was a fake photo, but exactly which two photos were doctored together to create it, and then made a time-lapse recreating the exact same fake. This brings out a really obvious and good question. Why did they do this? I mean, it's such a mundane picture to fake, especially considering the original Earth photo is from the International Space Station, so someone was gonna catch it eventually. Not to mention, after a very short first glance, it's not even a good fake. It's such a mediocre Photoshop that I was able to call in a favor from one of my minions at a local reputable telecom co-op to make a similar homage to Muskie Boy's Starman, which is the time-lapse playing right now, and boom, here is the result. On a more informative note, though, we can go even further to independently prove that this is a fake picture. Given A, the quality of the picture is damn near improbable for a satellite delivery vehicle to take, and B, the angle composition and implied position of the camera makes no sense given how they launch Starlink satellites. Talking about Note A, the picture is just way too good, and good cameras are not only expensive, they're heavy, which in space is the same thing. The rocket equation is a cruel mistress of law for spacebound vehicles and their engineers, and it punishes heavier craft with a non-linear cost of extra fuel to get that payload into orbit or beyond, meaning every extra kilogram you add costs even more than the last. Searching for the lightest CubeSat imager I could find that could just barely take this kind of photo, it weighs half a kilogram at the minimum. And since I have self-respect, I will be bypassing having to actually do the math right now on how much that would actually cost, and I will instead use SpaceX's numbers. $6,000 a kilogram for ride shares, which means that they turned down $3,000 at the minimum just to take this picture. This is why they use actual GoPros on their craft to record videos like this for some reason. And then B, our second point, the photo composition itself makes no sense. Using the original ISS photo captioned somewhere in Southeast Asia, I went on a Red Bull-fueled orbital geoguesser spree, finding the rough visible area of the original ISS picture on a map, along with local waypoints, and then comparing that to the cropped and upscaled SpaceX photo and the angle of the payload delivery vehicle in the frame, I figured out what kind of orbits would actually be required to even get this photo in the first place, and none of them make any sense. So they either A, had that particular launch vehicle just so loaded to the eyes with extra propellant that it could start at 28 degrees north inclination where SpaceX's launch site is, and then somehow still intersect 10 degrees north inclination on the other side of the globe when they should be at negative 28 degrees, and then after taking that picture, just burn fuel like it isn't real and can't hurt you so that they could get to 53 degrees of orbit inclination so the satellites could actually go over most of the globe and not just be useless. Or B, they just launched the craft and instead of, doing the standard thing where they deploy the satellites after about 65 minutes, they just let it sit there for 12 hours just chilling in orbit, fairings off until the area came into view and they could take their picture, meaning that those satellites would have just been sitting there exposed to the cold vacuum of space on the dark side of the globe, begging and pleading for cold welding to put them out of their misery. In either case, the circumstances in the picture alone don't make any sense, and we can conclude independently that the picture is fake and they just spread misinformation on purpose. So yeah, that's all you have to do to spot a fake photo from space. Thank you, and have a good night.